guys, what's up? It's Diana here, and today I'm back with my Fashion Institute of Technology experience. Obviously, I did not have a YouTube channel when I first started my first semester at FIT, so I was not able to share that with you guys, but today I'm going to be going through all that good stuff. To start it off, I'm a senior at the Fashion Institute of Technology for fashion design, and I'm currently in knitwear, which is a specialization that I chose for my bachelor's degree. So I already got my associate's degree in fashion design, and then we have to choose a specialization later on. But first, I wanted to talk to you guys about my very initial experience before I got into FIT, because I know a lot of you guys that are watching this probably haven't gotten to the school yet and are just dabbing your feet into what it is to go into fashion design. I initially was admitted into Montclair State University for biology. I wanted to be an obstetrician and gynecologist. That's just kind of where I thought my route was headed at the time. I was really good at biology, and math and science was just my thing in high school, but I ended up finding out that I really wanted to just be a fashion design major. So what happened was that I took an entire year off, had some odd jobs, I was a lifeguard, and I sort of had to really just get my stuff together so that I was able to have my portfolio ready for getting into FIT. FIT has a portfolio for fashion design students that is specifically in sewing, illustrating, and everyone has to do an essay. I guess I'll start off by what the essay was really about. They basically ask you why you're fit for FIT, and what I'm talking to you guys about right now is basically what I told them in my essay. I told them about how I took a year off after high school, how I'm getting all of my sewing stuff together because I'm really passionate as a fashion design student or an aspiring fashion designer. So that's, I guess maybe they really liked my essay, so that really, I guess, would help a lot. It's really just your introduction. You really want to sell yourself in a way that's humble, but also just really excited about being in the school. You also have a sewing portion, so you can sew basically anything. You don't really have to do anything that's too crazy or out there, but I guess it would help to sort of do something that's really nice. I know for me, obviously I didn't have any fashion, sewing, any experience at all. I really didn't know anything, and so I ended up taking a sewing class that was in the city because it was the closest thing to me. I don't live that far off from Manhattan or FIT, so that was really easy for me to just go over there, commute, and take a sewing class, and that really helped out a lot. And I know Joann's also does sewing classes, so if you want to look at your local Joann's or craft store, they might have some sewing lessons for you guys, and that'll just really help you out with your portfolio. So the illustration part of your portfolio basically asks you to have a little bit of collection where you show your inspiration and just like a mini collection. I'd say probably like 3-4 figures is what I did. I don't really have any of the stuff that I had used, unfortunately. I would show it to you guys, but I don't have that. So for my collection, I was just inspired by the flappers, 1930s, and I had a whole collection on pastels. It was really cute and girly. I was very different before I got into FIT. I was a completely different being. I didn't know anything, and I thought I was going to go into evening wear, but you guys would later find out that I did not end up going into that. Yeah, it was just like I put a collection together, and in my sewing I actually ended up doing one of the pieces or a couple of the pieces that were in my collection. So that ended up getting me into FIT. That really helped me out in knowing about the process and sort of getting me to not be so nervous about the process was having joined a Facebook group of all the kids that were also trying to get into FIT. I know I met a lot of awesome people. I met my roommates. It can be a very hectic, scary process, especially for someone like me that did not know anything. I kind of went in blindly. I didn't even apply to a different school. That's how crazy it was. I mean, you know, it's just good to be able to sort of communicate with people that are going through the same things that you are. And also when you start getting your acceptance letters, you guys can sort of talk to each other on if you've gotten it or not, if they got in, things like that. That's sort of it for my application process. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I will also leave the links to the FIT website because they have a lot of questions answered there for you guys. So definitely check out their website. Another experience that I had before I got into FIT was that other than lifeguarding, I also was lucky enough to have an internship, and this is not necessary at all. You don't have to have an internship before college. In fact, I don't really recommend it because you won't need one until you're actually in college. But I do recommend getting some maybe during the summer times between your semesters and all that type of thing, because it kind of helps you know where you want to work, and if you still want to do this, because obviously internships really show you what designers actually do in the industry. So for me, I was lucky enough to have an internship beforehand at LA Tahari. My grandmother was friends with a grandmother of one of the designers there, so she knew that I wanted to pursue fashion design. Her granddaughter was a fashion designer, so we kind of got in touch, met at a cafe right by the building that where I would end up interning at, and it was kind of fun. I mean, we just sat down, sort of chatted, and we got to know each other a little bit. She was super nice, and I worked there for about 4 months. Was it really necessary? No, but it did really help me out in getting to know what it was to walk around Manhattan and get to know the streets and all that type of thing. It was very just helpful. It also let me know that I didn't want to be in a very corporate company. I felt sort of uninspired while I was there because it was just very corporate. Everybody was right in front of a computer. The studio itself wasn't that appealing, but it was my first initial just getting into, I guess, the industry. And I'm not really going to go over it too much, but I did get to intern there, and I learned so much about looking at fabric. That was my first time going to Mood Fabrics, which, if you guys don't know, it's a very famous fabric store in New York City. And I went swatching, and it was so much fun because I got to learn a lot of things, but it was also very hard because I was there from 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or something like that to about 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. when they closed. So I was there, I think 2 times or 3 times a week for 4 months. So I was there for a long time. It was fun though. I learned a lot. I got to communicate with designers hands-on, and I highly recommend just putting yourselves out there for internships because New York City is the place to intern. You have so many options. You have so many high fashion designers. You also have designers that aren't high fashion, but you also get to just learn so much about what you're actually getting yourself into. And I know that for me, it was very surprising in knowing what fashion design actually was before I got into the school. I had no idea. It's just something that it's not what it's portrayed as on TV at all. It's very time consuming. It's very life consuming. In general, you have to really put your life into it and you're 100%, because fashion design is a no BS job. My first semester at FIT was a very difficult one. I had professors that were really old and didn't really know about what the industry is now, but they were really helpful in your first basis of construction. You really got to learn everything, your foundation for sewing, draping, all that type of thing. It's the truth, you know. A lot of the professors there are just older and sometimes not capable of having the attention span for 20 students in a classroom, and that's just the reality of it. I did have some professors that were younger and had actual jobs in the industry, which was really helpful, but I also had those other professors that just felt like they needed to be a little bit more updated on what was actually going on. First semester was so difficult. We pulled all-nighters, which was great actually. I have a lot of my friends from first semester are still my friends to this day. I remember just being so scared of not passing. The classes that I had first semester were intro to sewing, draping, illustrating, pattern making. You have all of the construction classes in one semester, and I remember I had 9 classes, which is insane. Your major courses are only valid for 1 or 2 credits. It's a requirement for us to take a lot of other liberal arts classes, so we have to take math, science, English, history, all that type of thing. I love taking the art history classes, so I don't mind those, but we do have to take a lot of extra classes, which kind of sucks because that's what really made it so hard first semester. I mean, 9 classes is a lot, and the worst part is that your liberal classes, I believe, count for more credits than your actual core classes. So that's just one thing to take into consideration, is that your work ethic there has to be, you have to be on it. You have to be 100%, otherwise it's just not gonna work out. When all of first semester ended, 6 students dropped out or something crazy like that, and I was about to drop out. I remember crying, calling my mom and telling her, "Mom, I can't do this anymore, it's too much." And honestly, I'm not even being dramatic, it is crazy the workload that you have to do. It was just a very scary experience, and fashion design is no joke. I think it's the hardest major that is in FIT, and don't let that scare you. If you're a very passionate and creative person and are a hard worker, you would totally 100% make it through. Even when you think you're not going to make it, you will make it. So before first semester officially starts off, you have something called orientation week, which is basically a week where you just get to know everyone in the school and sort of get to tour around campus and kind of get to know the whole atmosphere. It's such a blast. I had so much fun orientation week. And I know for a lot of other majors, it's crucial to be social during orientation week. I was super social, but I don't talk to any of the people that I first met through orientation week. But I know for a lot of FMM students and all those other business major type, it was very important to sort of socialize during that time, because a lot of people would group up at that time and never really venture out of their circle, I guess. But for me, it was completely different. As far as like from then till now, a lot of the people that I talked to, I met through my major, and you have a lot of the same people in all of your classes. So you're gonna make friends even if you aren't in orientation week. It's really not that big of a deal for fashion design students, because everyone sort of just gets to know each other in fashion design. We kind of know who we really want to talk to and who we really want to spend our long hours of working in the computer labs or in the sewing labs with. I know a lot of the friends I have to this day I met in my first semesters. Hi Luce and Natalia, if you're watching this. Now, as far as my dorming situation went, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but there were Facebook groups that you could join, and everybody sort of kind of just talked to each other and mingled and asked people if they wanted to dorm and that type of thing. And I'm still friends with my first roommate. I met her through a Facebook group. We talked to each other and it was great. We hit it off. We were both fashion design students, which is so important to dorm with the fashion design students. I cannot stress this enough. I remember first semester I had so many projects and so many materials that everything was a mess, and her and I, we had the messiest room of all time. We really did not have time to sit there and organize all of our projects. I'm telling you guys, I had 9 classes, so you can only just try to imagine and picture physical projects in your room. You really don't have that much closet space. You sort of have some space under your bed if you get those like cube things, you know, the ones that you put under your bed to like heighten it up. You could do that and it helps give storage. Highly recommend doing that. But also, you still don't have enough space and you still need to put your project somewhere. So a lot of the time it would end up on the floor, especially during finals week. If you're a fashion design student, please get a fashion design roommate, because that will make your life so much easier and you guys will know the struggle. One good thing about living in the dorms though is that you're in the middle of the city, so you have so many options for eating, for going out, shopping. I'm a big lover of cafes, and being in the city is amazing because you can literally just walk to West Village and have so much access to a lot of amazing cafes. And you can also do some like homework projects there, which is so fun. I'm also big on people watching, so if you want, you have the High Line that you can just walk a few blocks down. And there's also a lot of shopping, which is great. I have so many of my favorite stores really close by. You just walk with your friends, have a little picnic date at Central Park, which I used to do a lot for a semester. Thrifting is really good in the city. The only thing that I'd say about thrifting, especially if you're from a state that's, you know, a little bit more toward the west of the country, is that it's really expensive in New York City to go thrifting. Is it worth it? I think so compared to retail prices, but thrifting is very expensive in New York City. You can find some really amazing pieces though, a lot of designer items. Beacon's Closet, you could also go to the Goodwill, which is okay. There's also Brooklyn, so if you want to take the train and you're feeling a little bit adventurous, go to Brooklyn. Oh, and as far as eating goes, don't suggest going eating all the time. It can really accumulate and take its toll on your budget. If anything, you spend your money on thrifting, spend your money on shopping, but don't spend it on food because it can be so easy to spend all of your money on meals. Highly suggest meal plans. Food at FIT is not great, but it did get me by through the semester. Just make sure to take care of your meals and not eat too much, because the freshman's 15 happened to me. If you think that you have time to actually cook your meals, there's also Whole Foods down the block, which is pricey, but you know, you're getting your meals and your organic food needs. And there's also Graciti's down the block as well, which is basically a normal supermarket, but the place that you can get the best prices for your food is hands down Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is so awesome. It has a whole selection of food. Frozen food is very helpful, especially when you don't really have time but still want to cook. So now I want to go into what I'm currently doing right now. I decided to specialize as a knitwear student, so that's where I'm at right now. It was sort of a bumpy start because I feel like the curriculum has its quirks as far as organization goes. I feel like I could have learned a little bit more at an earlier time. We learn a lot of machine knitting. It's like hand knitting or manually knitting across a needle bed. and you have your stole machine, which is the most amazing thing that's ever been created on this planet for knitwear, which is I think what a lot of companies use to make their more high quantity of clothing items. So this semester I made a sweater. I guess I'll show it to you guys because I'm really proud of it. It's just this big billowy ivory sweater, and this one is inspired by Victorian blouses. I love like just really pretty dainty pieces, and I really wanted to add that onto a sweater. I actually get to wear it, which is nice. I made the sleeves a little bit too long, but it has a very nice full effect. It's 100% merino wool, and I believe it was $25 a pound. I bought like 4 pounds or something like that because I had to make a knit sample before I actually made the sweater. You're gonna notice that with a lot of your projects it's really expensive, especially if you want to use natural fibers. Like, I think it's important to do that just because you're starting to really just work with really nice quality clothing items, and it makes you feel like you're doing something very special. Full process of making the sweater could have taken me about a month because obviously this was my first start in the stole machine, which is, like I said, full fashion machine, and it's computerized, so you're basically in front of a computer screen and you get to put where all your stitches are. You have to initially drape the garment. You have to know all the dimensions of your garment. I also had a really gorgeous dress that was inspired by Marie Antoinette and her chemise dress before she got beheaded. Sounds morbid, but the whole theme of the entire exhibition was Mad Max meets French court. So I have this chemise dress that's very feminine and very pretty, and I distressed it because Mad Max is all about old items and old things that you just picked up and put on because it's a post-apocalyptic story. So the whole story behind my dress was that it was an actual vintage dress that was later on picked up by somebody that was living in the Mad Max time, and then I tea-dyed it by hand and distressed the seams and just made it look really, really pretty. It got into the exhibition, which is really nice. They had a display there for about 3 days. My parents and my family got to go see it. I really loved being a part of that. FIT teaches you so much, and although it was a very painstaking experience, I highly 100% recommend the school. It's really inexpensive compared to a lot of fashion design schools, like Parsons is 60 grand a semester or a year, I believe. Also a really great school. I believe it's the #1 school for fashion design in the country. But FIT, I think, is just great for construction. Sometimes I have moments, I'm not gonna lie, where I feel like, what am I doing in fashion design and all that stuff, but honestly, all the things that I learned at FIT are really what make me so excited about being creative. Not just in construction for garments, but even shopping. It's changed my whole perspective on everything, and it just makes you appreciate fashion so much more. It's helped form my aesthetic. It's helped form my YouTube channel because I know a lot of things about proportion, styling, garments, fabric, all this type of thing. So a lot of the information that I learned at FIT, I apply it into my videos, and it's just a great school. I highly recommend it if you're looking to study fashion design. I think it's worth it, and if you guys are applying right now, I wish you all the best of luck. You're gonna have the best years of your life at FIT, the hardest, also the most fulfilling, and I'm pretty sure that like once I leave FIT, even though I hate it sometimes, I'm gonna miss it so much because of all the information you have and all the access you have to not only the city, but also to sewing machines, mannequins, you name it, you have it in the school. For all of you out there that are trying to apply into FIT right now, good luck. I believe in you, and for all of you that are still trying to get through FIT, wish you all the best of luck. You can do it. If I did it, you can too. I promise. Just get through the workload, and one day you're going to be able to really appreciate all the things you're learning in the school. And yeah, I hope this really helped in your deciding on whether or not you want to stay or go to FIT. As a senior in this college, I feel like I've had such a great experience, and I wish the same for all of you. If you're new to my channel, you're free to subscribe right now for more fashion videos, and if you guys have any more questions, also feel free to comment down below, like this video if you felt like it was very helpful to you, and I wish you all the best of luck. Bye!